This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. I'm delighted to be joined today by Badou Jack the Ripper. Is it Jack the Ripper or Badou the Ripper Jack?
Jack the Ripper.
So I got there first time. Nice to meet you, Badou. Thanks very much for having us down today.
My pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about what brings you to London. We've been treated to a very nice video today. We've learned a lot about the Badou Jack Foundation. Just tell some of our viewers about the foundation and the work that you're over here promoting.
Okay, so we started the Badou Jack Foundation a couple of months ago, and our mission is to help kids all around the world to give them a fighting chance in life. So we begin our mission in Syria, a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan, actually. So my supplement company, Ripper Nutrition, is gonna supply them with protein shakes or meal replacement shakes. So they got all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients and stuff. So we're gonna give that to all the kids in the refugee camp. So we're gonna start with that, and we're gonna begin our crowdfunding in October.
Now this is something, the Badou Jack Foundation itself is something that's sort of a new venture, but doing outreach work or doing work with sort of less privileged people less fortunate, that's not new to you, is it? So why don't you tell me a little bit about sort of how you got started in the outreach work that you do?
I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. So my dad is from Gambia, so in Gambia, my second country, I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. So before every fight and after every fight, I try to help kids and orphanages over there as well.
So how important is that? What sort of thing does that give you as a fighter? Obviously, boxers, it's a very unique lifestyle. Boxing itself is a very unique sport. Just how beneficial is it and how rewarding is it for you to see that other side of things? What sort of humility and what does that add to you as a person as well as a boxer?
I mean, as a Muslim, it's my duty to serve God and to help people in need. So that's my duty, and it gives me all the strength that I need in my fights and in life, period.
Now you mentioned that your family origin is Gambia. You are, of course, Swedish by way of Las Vegas. You're somebody who's seen an awful lot of the world. You're now in London. Just tell me a little bit about that. What was it like growing up in Sweden? Somebody of Gambian heritage is quite an interesting mix.
Yeah, I mean, my mom is Swedish, so half of my family is Swedish, half of my family is from Gambia. I grew up in Sweden. I had a pretty good life. I was never rich or anything, but my mom took care of me good, and I had a pretty good life.
How are the sort of the cultures different? In my head, it's quite an interesting blend, sort of Gambia and Sweden. What's that like? How are they different? How are they the same? What kind of things do you take from each culture?
Yeah, I mean, I'm international. I live in Vegas. I've been in the States for almost 10 years now, so I got a little bit of everything. But so I blended in every culture, basically. Even here in the UK, I love the UK. And everybody's different, but everybody's the same as well. So I like that I'm international. That I can blend in everywhere.
So you're based in Las Vegas, been based in Las Vegas for 10 years, as you say. What was the pull to go into Las Vegas? Seems like a pretty silly question, sort of like the fight capital of the world, but growing up in Sweden, boxing isn't one of the most popular sports in Sweden. What was the lure for you to go to Las Vegas? What made you make that decision to have a pretty drastic change in your life?
I mean, I started in Miami first, and then my promoter at the time, so actually Shannon Briggs, who's very known here in the UK, he's the one who discovered me. So I moved to his house. I signed with him, and then after a while, his promotional company, it didn't work out really well. So he got screwed over some money and stuff. But they asked me then if I wanted to move to Vegas instead. So it's got better sparring, better. This fight capital of the world. So I was like, yeah, why not? And since January 2011, I've been there.
Now you mentioned the sparring. I've never actually been to Las Vegas. I'll probably be going in a couple of months' time. As somebody who's never been to Las Vegas but is still a huge boxing fan, what is it like in Las Vegas? It's not all just showgirls and casinos, is it?
No, where I live is a family, it's a gated community, a very good neighborhood. I live a quiet life, very good family life. So I mean, they got the Las Vegas Strip with all the casinos, all the nightclubs and events and stuff. of course. But for me, Las Vegas is a pretty quiet city.
Now, you box out of Las Vegas, out of the Mayweather gym. Floyd Mayweather, one of the most well-known fighters of our time, or indeed all time. How big of an influence has Floyd Mayweather been on your career personally?
I mean, both as a fighter, everything he's accomplished, he's made, he broke all the records. It's pay-per-view, money, belts, So to have somebody like that as a role model or as a mentor or whatever you call it, it's been great for my career, and it gave me all the motivation I need, because he trains hard even if he got all the money, all the belts and everything. So that definitely been a influence on my career. But and also he's giving me all the big fights, put me on the big stage.
Just talk to me a little bit about that, because you're somebody who's known for being in big fights, world title fights with some of our own fighters, but your career hasn't been smooth sailing throughout. I mean, you had your stoppage loss to Derek Edwards. What was that like? I mean, you're somebody who was unbeaten at the time, a lot of reputation. Talk to me a little bit about sort of the rebuilding process from there, and how important that loss was for you now in your career, now that you can look back on it.
I mean, that was an accident that happened, and I proved myself. I beat a lot of world champions, and that was just a slap. That was just a wake-up call. In boxing, anything can happen. You got to stay focused, for 12 rounds, each minute. Anything can happen, even against a journeyman or whoever it could be. So they just made me more humble and made me work harder.
Now, as you say, you have beaten some terrific world champions, one of which, who is very well known on these shores, is George Groves. A lot of, I think, the UK audience's first sort of introduction to you was that fight against George Groves. Tell me about that fight. He's somebody who's very well known across here. What was that fight like? Difficult fight? What did you make of George Groves as the opponent?
He's one of the best at 168, of course. And when we fought, when I knocked him down in the first round, I got a little anxious. I really wanted to stop him, so I lost my game plan a little bit. But I lost a couple of middle rounds, but then I came back at the end. But it was a good fight. I thought I won maybe 8 rounds to 4, 75 type of fight. He's improved a lot after. I wish him all the best. I think he's going to win that tournament he's in.
Yeah, so he's facing Callum Smith in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series finals. So you're picking George Groves in that fight?
Yeah, like I said, the other guy I haven't seen him. I've seen him fight the Swedish guy, actually. A little bit, a couple of rounds I saw. That's the only time I've seen him fight. But he seems okay, but I think George Groves is on another level. But anything can happen.
Now, somebody else who's actually his career is somewhat entwined with George Groves, who you also fought, is James DeGALE. Yeah. You've got a little bit of a wry grin on your face when I've just mentioned James DeGale's name. Talk to me about that fight. Highly debatable draw. A lot of ringside observers and indeed boxing fans had you winning that fight. What are your thoughts now you've had time to look back on that fight with James DeGale?
Like I said, I thought I won the fight too. The way you score fights is landing punches, effective aggressiveness. I landed the harder shots. I landed cleaner and more punches, and hurt him obviously. But it was a good fight, and whatever people say about James DeGale, he got a lot of heart. He's a warrior. Might not be the smartest fighter, but he got a lot of heart, and he achieved a lot. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's been a world champion as a professional. So everybody can talk bad about him, that he's shot and this and that, but he did a lot.
Is that fight? I mean, obviously, straight after the fight, there was that interview with Floyd and James where they sort of went at it a little bit. That has been talked about as a potential future fight for yourself and James, a rematch. Is that something that's ever been realistic, ever been close to being made? Obviously, you're now at 175. There was some talk of him coming up to meet you at 175. Was that ever realistic?
I mean, if you want to come up to 175, definitely we can make it happen. But yeah, I'm too big now. Right now, I can't make 168. So if the fight, the rematch will happen, it will be at 175 or higher.
I was going to say, you're quite a big guy even for 175. Last time we saw you in the ring, another draw. You like draws?
No, I don't like draws. I don't like draws at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it happens to me, but It is what it. This fight with Stevenson was a little bit closer though than the DeGALE fight, but I still thought I won that fight too.
Is the Stevenson fight something that we can expect to see again? Great fight, both of you, elite level 175 pounders. I think every boxing fan would love to see that fight again. Is that the fight that you're looking for?
If I could pick with no politics, no mandatory or nothing, that would be my first fight that I would love to have a rematch with him. Yeah, that's my number one pick if I could pick.
What did you make of Adonis Stevenson in the ring? I think general consensus is Adonis may be sort of starting to get past his peak. Did you feel that when you were in the ring with him, or did you still feel that he was very much sort of a live dog, as it were?
No, he was definitely a live dog. It was a competitive fight, and he was a strong guy. He got a pretty good punch. Nothing like crazy, but at least he didn't catch me with anything. But he's definitely a tough guy, and we saw him the fight before me. He was destroying everybody. So, well, you can go all overnight, so you never know.
When can we expect to see an announcement on your return to the ring?
Hopefully end of the year. So I would love to fight in November, December.
Okay, and just finally, Badou, because I do appreciate you've got an awful lot of media here waiting to speak to you. I saw something on social media, another very famous Swede, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Zlatan. He's somebody else who's very well known over here. How did you guys meet? I mean, what's the relationship like there?
Our PR teams got connected, and I visited one of his games in LA. And we talked a little bit after the fight. He wished me, sent me some emails and a video wishing me good luck against Stevenson. And he's come where I come from, same country, with a immigrant background. So yeah, we got a lot of things in common.
What's Zlatan like, sort of away from the cameras? He strikes me as somebody who's very interesting, shall we say. What's your personal relationship with him like? How did you find him?
I really liked him. He was really humble, really cool. He actually knew a lot about boxing. Yeah, he's seen all my fights. He saw my fight against Cleverly and against DeGALE, and he's a big boxing fan.
Okay, well, Badou Jack, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Looking forward to seeing more from this brilliant project that you've got, the Badou Jack Foundation. I urge everybody who's watching this interview to please look into the Badou Jack Foundation and all the excellent work that you're doing around the world. Thanks very much for speaking to us. Look forward to seeing you back in the ring soon. Badou Jack the Ripper, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.